guys. Today we're going to go ahead and make a card using the new stamp set Beautiful Day. It's out of the Occasions catalog. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off with a Marina Mist card base. This is cut A2 size, so 5.5 by 4.25. You also will need a piece of the Sweet Soirée Specialty Designer Series paper. This here is cut at 5.25 by 4. You will also need a piece of Daffodil Delight. This is cut 1 by 4. And all I did was took my paper snips, my scissors, and just trimmed the edges to give it that angle. Then you will need a piece of watercolor paper. This was cut out of the layering circle framelits. I used the largest scalloped circle on that one. And then the inks we're going to be using are the Versamark ink, your Berry Burst, Basic Black, the Daffodil Delight ink, and Tranquil Tide. And you also will need your silver emboss powder for this card. We're going to take this stamp set, Happy Birthday, May Your Day Be As Beautiful As You. And we're going to go ahead and ink that up with our Basic Black. So then we're just going to set this aside. Then the next thing we're going to do is stamp on our piece of watercolor paper here. And you want to make sure you have scrap paper down underneath because the stamp will not fit the whole circle. So we're going to use the Versamark to stamp this. And I'm going to use the large flower out of this set. I always like to use my Emboss Buddy when I remember to use it. Most times I remember it. But what that does is it just takes the static away so that your emboss powder will only stick to the Versamark ink. So I'm just going to ink up my flower here with the Versamark. And then we're just going to stamp this right on top of this scalloped circle here. So I stamped all the flower on there, but the leaf part of the flower comes off the edge. So then I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper, and I like to fold it in half and then put my paper on there and then just sprinkle my emboss powder over that. And then just give it a little tap to get the... And I like to flick the back. That seems to help get that off, that excess off. So once that image is all stamped and you have your emboss powder on there, you're just going to take your heating tool on setting 2 and you're just going to heat that up. So once you have your flower all embossed, we're going to color this in with our 3 inks here. Now you can do this using a aqua painter, which is what I'm going to use today. Also use the blender pens. You can also use the new blendable markers. You can use the regular markers. You could use the watercolor pencils. There's a lot of different options to coloring this in. So I'm going to choose to do the aqua painter, and what I'm going to do is just squeeze the lids of these, and it's going to put some ink on there, and we're going to use that to color in this flower. Also have a paper towel in hand so I can wipe off my colors in between coloring. So I'm going to start with the Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to squeeze just a little bit of water on here and then just mix that in. I like to do the emboss because it kind of helps you keep your colors in line. So I'm just going to put this right on the top here. With these aqua painters, they're very easy to use. All you need to do is just unscrew the top, and this is where the water is held. You just put water in there, just regular water, screw it back in, and then you control how much water you want released by squeezing it. So if you don't want a lot of water released, then you don't give it a good squeeze. We're going to move over to our Berry Burst. we're going to move on to the Tranquil Tide. We're just going to go ahead and take our designer series paper and glue that to the front of the card. So you can use snail adhesive or fast fuse. We're just going to glue this to the bottom of the card, and I'm going to kind of put it more towards the bottom corner of the card. And then we're going to take our flower. You're going to make sure it's dry first, which if it is not dry, you can use your heating tool on setting 1 and dry that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put a bunch of Stampin' Up! Dimensionals on the back. And I'm just going to kind of put this right on the front of the card and kind of pop that right up. So there's your card. Simple card, but very, very pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.